one is one, if we could buy this, it's listed for $188,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,225 square feet, single family located in Beach Park, and newer style construction. So, looking at the photos on this property, this is kind of a more of a low level rehab. Nothing major inside this property. More of like exterior painting, interior painting, new appliance set, and get this one back on the market as fast as possible. But looking at this property here, let's look at some of the details on this one. So 2,225 square feet. We are a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, built in 1997. So now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the comps in the neighborhood. This is a real desirable little area. Most of the homes that are in this area are newer construction, and I can't say that it was mass built. I would call these kind of semi-custom. There's a number of houses that are scattered throughout here that are of newer construction, but this definitely could be a really good play for a buy, fix, up, and sell property. So let's dive into this one here and look at some of the comps in the neighborhood. So let's just take a look at here's a tri-level, and I can tell that it looks like it's newer construction, built closer to our age. Again, nice and clean and tidy. The color on the walls and the cabinets seem to be okay in condition. But the overall style on it, it's a much smaller house. These are like 1,700 square feet, and you've heard me say so many times that on a tri-level, you never truly know what the square footage is. So this seems to be pretty accurate, around 1,700 square feet. This property sold for $221,000. So we got a 1,700 square foot house. We've got a sales price of $221, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, built in 2002. So very similar in age, and the overall condition is what I would call good. So it's just a much smaller than the subject property. We're 2,200 square feet. This one's at 1,700 square feet. So we just got to kind of watch that and adjust for that. So let's close out of this comp. Let's take a look at the next one that we've got. This one's on Otto Graham, and this particular property, Otto Graham, is 2,300. Let's get to the top here and see if we can pull that one up real quick. Otto Graham. So Otto Graham, this comp looks pretty darn good on the interior. I can't tell if the kitchen cabinets are new or if they're painted. They kind of look like they're painted. But the overall look is good in this property. They painted some of the doors in like that charcoal color, which we do in a lot of the properties. Lots of hard surface flooring, tasteful, very good looking property. So I would say a pretty good comp, and a Blackhawks lower level here. So let's get into the some of the details on this one. This one's 2,352 square feet. It's sold for $255,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, and this one was built in 1999. It took 67 days to sell. This one's a really good comp. This one's very similar to the size of the subject property. The design and style would be very similar. It's a true 2-story. This is a great comp to use for the subject on 10 pin. Beds and bath count, everything is very, very similar. So that one's really almost what I would consider very close to being an identical. Let's take a look at another property here in the neighborhood. There's one here. This one is on Morris Court. And this particular property, again, nice and tidy and clean. These are definitely painted cabinets inside the property. Clean, good shape, well maintained, good looking home overall, and has a pool, which is a plus or a minus, just dependent on the buyer. But Overall, I would say that it's a nice looking property. I can tell it's probably similar in age. This one's 2,146 square feet, and it is a 4 bedroom, 2 bath, 2 car garage, 2 story, built in 2001, and this one sold in 64 days. So this one sold in the same time as the other property that we had. So again, fairly good comp, a little bit different design and style than the subject property. I always like to look at the front of the house and kind of look to see. And I mean, the front on this one is, it doesn't have a lot of style to it. It's a kind of a plain style house with a very dated type color on the exterior of it. This is not real popular right now, so gonna do a few negatives on the style of the house, design and style, and the color on the exterior of the property. But again, this one sold for $224,000, so that's another property we can use as a comp. And let's take a look at another property that's out here. Let's look at this one on Anthony, and this one here. This one's definitely a smaller house, 1,792 square feet. I know the model of this house. It's clean and tidy, looks good, older dated cabinets, and I'm going to do some adjustments, obviously, for condition. But this one is a 1,792 square feet, sold for 209. 4 beds, 2 baths, 2 car garage, built in 2004, and took 82 days to sell. It's substantially smaller than the subject. It's like the tri-level style house that's out there. But it's right in the neighborhood. It's good to look at, and you make some adjustments. Okay, hey, for square footage, we're larger than this property. We are going to be more updated than this particular property. So adding and subtracting is what you have to do for comps. So on the 10-pin lane property, let's just go through some of the numbers. Is this one a good play? So if we could buy this property for around $145K, $145,000 is the buy-in price. We're going to have renovation on the property. I'm going to pin that at around $51,000. It's a pretty good size home, so I want to do the right things to it. I know the exterior siding needs to be painted, and just the inside. And based on the size of the house, I want to do this one up right. And based on the sales, we really have almost an identical comp that sold for $255,000. So on this property, we're looking at a buy for $145,000, $51K for renovation, and a $255,000 sales price. That's going to leave an investor with around a $40,000 profit on a buy, fix, and sell, assuming that you sell it in 4 to 5 months. And so this one, absolutely, I'm checking this one off. This one is a good play, and that's 1119 10-pin lane. And reach out to us for all the details on the property. We've got all the details and can give you a little bit more insight on why we like this particular property. And don't hesitate to check out our website, chaseforeclosure.com, and see you tomorrow. Thanks.